for this worksheet, we want you to approximate the value of an irrational number. Irrational numbers are numbers that do not terminate. Example of that one would be pi. Pi is approximately, right? Equal sign would be this. That means like 1 is equal to 1 take away 1 plus 1. Well, once we simplify it, 1 take away 1 gives me 0, right? 1 take away 1 gives me 0. 0 plus 1 gives me 1. So 1 is equal to 1. This one, pi, is an irrational number. Pi is 3.14 dot, dot, dot. It means it goes on forever. Well, so far forever. The numbers do not repeat and they do not terminate. So it's not going to be like 1/3. 1/3 is equal to, well, once again, it's an approximated value, 0.3 with a repeating bar because it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So that's what I mean by repeating. It's a repeating number. The number repeats. So in pi, 3.1415, etc., it does not repeat. It goes on and on and on. That's what an irrational number is. An irrational number is a number that does not repeat and does not terminate. Okay, so remember, keyword here is approximate, more or less, right? Look at the approximated, locate the approximate position of the square root of 51 on the number line. If you remember from the lessons, here we have a square. The square root means the side, right? The side of the square. So if they say, what's the square root of 51? It means this number multiplied times itself should give you 51. Well, I know that 8 times 8 gives me 64. That's too big. 7 times 7 gives me 49. That's pretty close. So the approximated value of the square root of 51 is approximately what? 7, right? 7. It's just the first number. You don't say 7 times 7 is 49. You say 7. The approximated value of the square root of 51 is 7. And here what they want you to do is they want you to graph it, right? Put it on the number line. If it's going to be a negative value, the further to the left you go, the bigger the number. If it's going to be a positive value, the further to the right, the bigger the number. Well, obviously, when it's a negative value, the number is bigger, not the value of it, just the number. So let's just say we have negative 16. On the right of it, we'll have negative 15. 16 is greater than 15. I'm talking about the absolute value. But the bigger the number is, I'm talking about negative value, the smaller it actually is. On the number line, any number to the left of the other will be less than. So negative 16 is less than negative 15. Great. So on this one, as we're counting upward, this is 6. In the middle of 6 and 7 would be 6.5. And then we have 7. So the answer would be here. But in reality, 7 times 7 is 49. So in reality, the number, this dot, would be a little bit maybe more than 7, just by a little bit. So that's what the answer is going to be. So for number 1, the answer is going to be, let me erase those two. It's going to be 7 and a little more, right? Remember, we're looking at the approximated value. So we don't have to know the actual value as long as we know more or less what the answer is. So that would be the answer for problem number 1. It's 7 and a little bit more. Okay, that one's easy. Let's go on to number 2. Let's look at the approximated position of the square root of 3 on the number line. Same thing. We have a square, just to help you understand what it is. The square root would be nothing more than the side length of a square. Well, I know that 1 times 1 gives me 3. What? No, it doesn't. 1 times 1 gives me 1. That's too small. And then we can go to 2. 2 times 2 gives me 4. So the square root of 3, here's 1 and here's 2, is between 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2. But let me just erase this, because actually this one's 1. 1 times 1 gives me 1. 2 times 2 gives me 4. And on this one, the square root of 3, right? 3 would be closer to, on this one, right? 2 times 2 gives me 4. So which one's closer to 3? 1 squared or 2 squared? 2 squared, right? So 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the number line here, by the way. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the square root of 3 has to be between 1 and 2, right? No, we're looking at this one. Here, let me go back. We're looking just that one. The ones that are highlighted would be the square root. The square root of 1 would be 1. The square root of 4 would be 2. The square root of 3, which is what we're looking for, is going to be between 1 and 2. Here's 1 and here's 2. Closer to 2, right? Closer to 2. In other words, 1.9, right, squared is closer, I would imagine, to 3 than 1.1 squared would be closer to 3. And we use a calculator just for brevity. So here we have 1.9 squared, and that's 3.61. 1.1 squared gives me 121. So the closer you get to 2, the closer you get to the actual value of 3, right? So 1.8 squared. Let's see what that gives us. That's a point, by the way. That's 3.24, which is still too big. So let's go with 7 here. 2.89. See how it's getting closer? And then this would be maybe 5. There you go. So it's 1.75 is about 3 point, etc. Right? So it's closer to 2, like we said. The better answer would be 1.75. And of course, we're squaring that one. So getting back to this one, we did say that the answer, let me erase all this. We did say that the answer is between 1 and 2, closer to 2. So you would put it maybe right about there. And as long as it's approximately there, then the answer would be correct. So 1 point something close to 2 would be good, as long as it's not below the 1.5. So any answer in this area, I would accept it as being a correct answer. Once again, locate the approximated position of the square root of 3 on the number line. It's between 1 and 2, closer to 2. Any questions? Let's go on to 3. A square fence panel is 48 inches squared. Okay. So we have a square fence and it's 48 inches squared, right? So in other words, it's the area. It's the area. And we're talking about inches. I'll put it over here on this side. What is the approximate value of each side? Once again, we're looking for the square root, right? Here's this. What's the square root of 48? And if you know your multiplication facts pretty good, then you can start with like maybe something close to 7, right? 7 times 7 gives me 49. Hey, is that pretty close to 48? Yeah, but 7 times 7 is 49 would be too big. So if I put it at 7, it's too big. But it's got to be close to 7, does it not? Because we're looking for 48. So my actual answer, that dot has to be just a little bit less than 7. It's got to be 6 point something. And once again, for brevity, I'm going to use the calculator. So the square root of 48 is 6.928, which we did say it was a little less than 7. 6.9 is a little less than 7. So for the answer, it's got to be less than 7. Almost 7, but less. Keyword is less than 7. And that would give you your approximated value. Simple? Yeah, they're all simple.